Hey guys, it's me again, Orcstar. What if? Where we last left off? See, checking. Where we left off on what if Belle was a fume knight? Kind of tired at the moment. You guys can't tell. He got a helper to help him out, which is Lily, of course, where he saved her from getting, stabbed. So instead of she didn't. She still is trying to have him help her. That she looks at Belle and understands he's a very strong guy. Maybe she can get more out of working with him instead of trying to rob him. She was proven right because they made a lot of money on the first day they worked together. As he took on an entire horde of Grimm that easily had over 100 of them. And she saw him cut through them like butter. That's how it came. She knows that she'll do far better if she sticks with Belle. As they got all that done, she went off, they had that day where they took a break. Well, with Belle, she still feels that way of that he's treating her as an equal. Which is, in the anime, nobody really has treated her as an equal before, so that's what she does. So as he's going out with, got everything done, where I last left off, he just left the hostess of fertility after helping Seer do the dishes. And Hestia is I believe Hestia is getting ready because Belle, wanted to do something nice for her. So as he's just waiting around, he's like, somehow not going to the dungeon is making me more tired. As well, what Nadalia does is she's like, oh, come on. You get more tired from not doing anything serious than waging an entire battlefield? He's like, yeah, actually. Makes sense, so you're so in tune with the battlefield at moments that you're just not even a person there. You're just there. You are the battlefield. You're not just a person fighting on it. You immerse yourself in it. Oh, I suspect you won't understand. You're just a pompous, arrogant shard of darkness, aren't you? She's like, I may be pompous, I may be arrogant, but I ain't stupid, though. I have fought my fair share of battles. It's like, oh really? She's like, yeah. You wanna know what happened the first time when we all formed, me and my 4 sisters? It's like, how? I believe it's 4 sisters, yes. Chandra, Dahlia. Then there's the one in, Leois. Which is basically, pretty much what happens. That's how you get introduced back to Chaos Demons and all that in Dark Souls 2. And the King is taken, and pretty much he did the same thing, but here's a nice bit. The king was actually able to turn her to a good person. A shard of darkness, literally a shard of darkness made from a very bad being. She was its fear. She was Manus' fear, and oddly enough, she grew brave in his presence, because he's like, I knew you were an evil being, and you were right at my side the entire time. You did what I wanted you to do, and you kept my people safe. So I give everything to you. Peace. As he literally jumped down into literal hell. That ain't a joke. He literally dropped down into hell. It's like an ODST, but in God form. Jesus. But anyways, as I digress. She says, my one sister fled. She was a coward. My second sister, she went to Sunken City. Apparently there she destroyed it by awakening a dragon that spouted poison. And there was an invasion by against people called the Drake Blood Knights or something like that. I don't know. My second sister, though, Miss Chandra. As Belle can just imagine, she's just clicking her tongue. She tried to kill me. Wait, what? Yep. She's the strongest out of the four of us, no doubt. Manipulation and all that's her strong suit. But the one, my sister that fled to sinking city, she had some power, but she can't do anything by herself. She always had minions following along. As for me, I would say I'm pretty up there. The weakest of us was the fear, of course. Her thing is getting others to fall for her traps and pity her. She got what she wanted, though. She's actually the queen to a nice land far away from here. If only I followed her example. And Chandra, she wishes for darkness, quote unquote. Even though darkness is so dull. As Chandra lets off like a little laugh. She doesn't even recognize what's most valuable in this life. After Belle hears that, he's like, oh, sorry for yawning. He's like, hold up, what do you mean, what's precious? She's like, she would never get it. Get what? This life is good because of the things that are in it. How should I say it to you? She is single-minded, wishing to spread darkness all over the world. I didn't much care for spreading of darkness. I just wanted something for me. The kingdom. So, then what would you have done if you were able to rule beside your king? Be a good queen. My job is to ensure myself, though. Just like my younger sister. I didn't want to bring ruin or anything. I wanted something for myself to keep me safe. Belle's just rubbing his forehead. He's like, so. As people are walking by, he's not talking out in the open, but he's rubbing his forehead constantly. Like he has a headache. That's like, what's the deal with him? Yeah, I have no clue, man. As he's thinking about this, she's like, but now I have you. You'll go kick my sister's teeth in and I'll have a way to ensure my survival. Because you'll be attached to my sword. Yep. If you either lock me away, that ain't gonna do, Belle. He's like, what do you mean? You know, the thing about him taking over the sword of yours is that now I'm directly linked to you? It's like, excuse me, what? Let me make it clear. You can't get rid of me. He's like, oh, yes, I can. He's like, oh, no, you can't. Trust me. It's like, and what makes you say that? Because our souls are tied together now, Belle. If you ditch me somewhere off, like, say, throw me in the middle of the sea, I'll take half your soul with me. He's like, he wouldn't dare. She's like, try me. Like I said, Belle, me and you are destined to be together for till the end of our days, or your days at least. Then I'll take on to be, then I'll attach myself to your descendants. If not, I'll find some other sorry soul to take me with them. This life is too exhilarating, Belle, to just be left to rot in a cellar. He's like, you know, I wasn't thinking about dropping you off in the middle of the sea. Now I kinda am. She's like, oh, Belle, don't make yourself laugh. Don't make me laugh. You can get rid of me if you want to. It's like, would you like to test that theory? She says, did you not just hear me say I would take half your soul? From what I can understand, this magic thing with leveling up. Take half your soul? Half your power goes away. And then there goes my little boost, my great boost that I've given to you. So, you want to try it? He's like, you crafty devil. She's like, I'm no devil, Belle. I actually have a soul. He's like, He turns his head back and just leans back. And he's like, I'm gonna go head out of the city for a bit. She's like, you sure? He's like, the city gets kind of boring after a while. I want to go wander the farmlands. He's like, alright, be yourself, as he heads out of the city for a bit. As when he goes back, Hestia, I believe Hestia actually leaves for a day or something like that. Been a while. I'll just get to the day where Belle's in the dungeon. He's right alongside Lily again. And Samson's starting to go wah at me because he doesn't like being in the room even though it's bedtime. I have a bedtime that I try to keep them to. But he doesn't like it. Normally it's because he's not on the bed. Get up on the bed. I said you can get up. Come on, you've already been outside to use the bathroom. Anyways. They're in the dungeon. Belle actually feels something is up with Hestia. Can't tell. Not Hestia. Sorry, Lily. He feels it, but can't quite put his finger on it. As he's like, Nadalia, is it just me or something up with Hestia? She seems different. As she had one of those talks, or was threatened, you could say, by those guys that like ambush her. And what they said is that you trap that guy because his sword is most likely worth a lot of money. And you're gonna help us get it, or you're gonna die. They weren't joking with her. Excuse me. She knows they're serious. She knows that Belle's armor and everything is worth a lot of money. So she's going to take her chances. As she tells them where to go, the people gathered a lot more people. As this is what happens. Give me a second, I gotta sneeze. Belle and her are walking down to the dungeon, you see. They get all down there, and Lily's like, sorry, Master Belle. As she walks up, as she goes to walk beside him, she's like, sorry, Master Belle. As she sees there's a part in between his armor that she could stick something in there. As she stabs up to his leg with a very thin needle-like blade. She gets it up in there, and it's filled to the brim with the most potent paralyzation agent. Why is my nose getting stuffy now? He's like, Lily, as he like freezes up and falls down to his hands and knees. As he can't move his body, but can move his lips somewhat. He's like, Lily, why? She says, I'm sorry, Master Belle, but they made me do. It's like, oh, Lily, don't try to sell us out just yet. As she's like, oh God, he's here. I'm so sorry, Master Belle. She's like, as Belle tries to look, but he's paralyzed, so it's like, sorry, good sir. Sorry, my friend. You see, Lily here owes us a very, very big debt. So, sorry, but she offered your head on a platter if we got rid of her debt. As Lily goes to say that she actually never agreed to it. You threatened me. So, and you sold him out to save your own hide. Man, helpers are in such low quality these days. As he snaps his finger, about 20 to 30 guys come out. From level 1 to level 2 adventurers. Belle's like, oh, I see. As he looks to Lily, he's like, get down. As he asks, Nadalia, give me a bit of a boost now. As he doesn't ask in his mind, he asks openly. She actually speaks openly too. The sword somewhat glows in a weird way as it brims with fire. It's like, what the fuck is happening with his sword? As he starts to stand up, this potent poison ain't doing nothing. As everyone got really close to him, like they were just about to jump on him, then he said that. As he takes the flask off the bottles off his thing, and he smashes them on the ground. As beside him rise 6 warriors. Like I said, he had like 6 or so warriors, like ash warriors. As they're summoned, they all stand up with their weapons at the ready. As they're like, Boss, what the hell did you get us into? He says, I'm not fucking sure. Kill him! What are you waiting? One guy tries to rush at Bell, but the Ash Warrior splits him in two. As the other guys are like, holy... They start charging forward, they're like, kill those weird things! He must be a sorcerer or something! As Bell says, slaughter them all. As this reminds him of the betrayal, or the time he tried to rebel, quote-unquote, against Nishandra and such. As his men, quote-unquote, jump out and just start literally butchering them. No, butchering is too nice. They eviscerate them. They slash them, stab them, smash them. While Bell gets his giant sword, and as they're like, wait, man, wait, come on, let's calm down. As Bell just cuts through him, as Nadalia is like, oh, this is the greatest entertainment I've had all freaking month. Oh, Bell, keep on going, Bell, you're doing just fine. As she's smiling inside his head, he's like, kill them all. As he slices through 4 of them at once, the soldiers are dying quickly. Their numbers against Bell and the Ash Warriors don't mean jack, since it took Bell a while to get through those soldiers. He wasn't just like, barging through them. They were taking some time. These soldiers are experienced, since they've been fighting people going into the tower for ages. As Bell and them all made their way, Bell cuts down them after another. As the guys who were leading them, Bell walks forward and does this. He says, do not ever think to attack those who serve me. As he says this, as 2 voices actually appear, as it's Nadalia's and Bell's. As their idea is sort of coalesce in one another, as it's like, do not attack those who serve me. As he raises up his sword, I was like, wait. As the fire is already engulfing it and slices through all 4 of them, they all just turn to ash. As Lily is covering her mouth, one of the Ash soldiers turn to her and start to walk towards her, and Bell just holds up his hand. Hold. As he walks towards Lily with his fire sword, the fume sword still in his hand, he makes his way to her and stands above her. She actually gets down on her hands and knees and says, I'm so sorry, Master Bell. I didn't want to, but they made me. As Bell pulls up his sword, as she's like, she doesn't attempt to move out of the way or anything. She knows she did wrong, so she's willing to accept her fate. As he raises it up, as Nadalia is actually thinking, could we even trust her again? She sold us out. Doesn't matter, Nadalia. The men they sent after us were nothing but weaklings. As Nadalia says, weren't you betrayed but yourself? Left to die, exiled, whatever you wish to call it? He says, yes. But I will not harm this one. She seems innocent. At least for the most part. She's like, no one is fucking innocent. You've butchered hundreds of giants. How do you even know those guys were a threat? He says, they were originally a threat. Maybe Nishandra just pushed it more. As he calls the soldiers back, as the flask and reform, and they all come back to him as he ties them around his belt again. As he puts his fire sword away, as Lily just looks up, as he kneels down and actually picks her up, saying, I understand why you did it, Lily, but let me make myself clear. Betray me again, and I will not show mercy. For I understand they push you in a corner. But you must know, Lily, as he actually picks her up sometime and actually looks her in the eyes. Actually, he takes off his helmet for this, so she knows he's serious. If anyone ever tries this again, to try and force you to do something like this, know this. I Bel Cranel, son of Leonidas, and the Fume Knight, and, well, also known as the Rain, Knight of King Vendrick. Bel Cranel, son of Leonidas, as he goes off on few of his titles, say, solemnly swear to stand by you, and smite those and destroy all who would see you done harm. Do you accept my vow, my pledge to ensure your safety? As Lily actually starts crying, actually wraps her arm around his neck, as Bel's like, oh. As he wraps, sort of hugs her somewhat, as it's like, as she's like bawling her eyes out, she's like, thank you, Master Bel. As she's legitimately crying. She's like, thank you so much for your forgiveness and mercy. She's like, you're welcome, Lily. Come, we must gather what we can from these fools. As he sets her down, she's like, yes, Master Bel. As she rubs her eyes, she's like, so how much gear do you think these guys will have? He's like, well, hopefully the monsters will come and eat this. But as for that, take their Valis and take any rock, those little gems they have, so we can trade in the guild. She's like, alright, thank you, Master Bel. She's like, also, I could take a lot of these weapons, like a few of these daggers and such, and make a nice little penny from selling them off again. He's like, that would be wise, wouldn't it? She's like, yep, alright, thank you. As they pretty much strip the corpses. Yeah, these guys attack Bel in numbers. They don't deserve the honor of not having their bodies disturbed. Plus, Nadal is like, Bel, you keep on surprising me more and more. He's like, hey, they attacked me. I'm gonna reap what they sowed. So, takes all the jewels and all that, and they go away. We just cut a bit more into the future. Not a bit more into the future. We cut to the golden figure, just a few, like a couple of weeks away from where Bel is. As he's like, the Fume Knight. They told me that he is heading to Orario, the city of gods. We shall see about that. As he rides off again. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching this. I hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you guys continue to enjoy this. Hope you guys have a nice day, nice night, nice life.